Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have me douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking clout. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now.
You don't wanna fuck with me. A slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
Showtime.
Welcome to Friday Night Lights. I am your host, Mikey, and as always, riding with me, Shotgun Tommy. What's going on, brother?
What is going on, Mr. Mikey? Happy Friday.
Our chat is hilarious. I don't know if you saw it.
Go ahead. I saw some of it.
Beth got in here a minute early, and then there was a bet on how late we would be. That's awesome.
Never. We try to be. Hey, I'm a stickler on time, but sometimes things happen, man.
Well,
sometimes
we start getting talking, and we like, oh crap, we gotta hit the live button.
Yeah, shh. It's 8:31. We
gotta go. Scott, yes, 20-0. Prove him wrong. Today we cannot.
Yeah, no, can't prove you wrong. Right now,
that's great that you guys start before us. You guys get warmed up. We come in, and then we'll take you. You know, you guys feed us topics to talk about. Especially this time of year, Tommy, as we know, there's not a whole lot going on.
No, it's very quiet.
Like even for OTAs, I don't know if you saw Mitch Morse was on Pat McAfee show. And,
no, I missed that.
Okay,
he talked to me about it.
Yeah, so he talked about it today, and he said that they canceled the most recent OTA practice and went out and had a golf tournament.
Oh, okay. Shows you how meaningful OTAs
are, right? He's like, it's all about camaraderie. Like they said, so
that's well, I said that to you last week. It wasn't so much about we know it's not practice, but. Okay,
it's about being together, building the team stuff, especially for the new guys, as what Mitch said. He said because there's a lot of guys who weren't there. He's like, those are the veteran guys that have been in the system a long time. He said it really means more for those young guys, the new guys that are just coming to the team this year, to truly understand how the locker room works. Most of the leaders are here, you know, and stuff like that. So I mean, I get it, but he was talking about it, and he's like, so Pat asked Mitch how his golf game was. He's like, oh, I didn't play. I'm not good at all. he's like, I've had 2 elbow reconstructions. He's like, but we're all out there having a good time. You know, we're still out there driving carts around, and you know what he called jazzed up juice or something like that. And he's like, it's a few beers, and you know, so
just be careful, Mitch. Don't get hit with the in the head with a golf ball and get a concussion. Like. Please, let's be careful wherever you're at, all right?
Yes, Ben, you're right. McDermott does that every year, and he talked about McDermott a lot and about like how he is in the locker room. There's a lot of frustration from Bills fans about McDermott, and there's a lot of questions about him, but the players love him because he is, you know, player first, football player second. Right. Human first, football player second. It's who he is. Scott Blakely comes in with a super chat. Thank you, Scott. We appreciate it.
Thank you,
Can
buddy.
you talk on the delusional Jets hype and fan arrogance? Were we that bad as a fan base? There were parts of Bills Mafia were that bad.
Oh,
it wasn't all of Bills Mafia, because a lot of Bills Mafia still had the waiting for the other shoe to drop and us going back to sucking. Like we were scared to be excited about our team when we first started because we were so bad for so long. I'll tell you, this whole Jets hype reminds me so much of the Broncos hype last year.
Oh yeah, 100%, Mikey.
So much of the Broncos.
I will say though, there's a difference between how we got hyped up for the team, okay, and how the Jets and like the Broncos, to your point, are hyped up. We got hyped up because it was something that like was was started from the bottom and was gradually getting better and better. It was building, right? And we were like, whoa, like it got us excited. With them, they just added one quarterback and they were like, whoa. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like it's a little bit different. Like Josh Allen, ain't nobody in 2018 when we drafted Josh Allen. I mean, maybe a few, but nobody was screaming to the top. We're the best. We're the, I don't think Bills Mafia was there yet. Even in 2019, when we made the playoffs, I still don't think people were like that. Even in 2020, going into the season, I still didn't see Bills Mafia was like so hyped up.
2021 was the same way. They're like, we need to see it done again. They do it again, then I'll believe it. And then they did it again. We're like, okay.
Yeah. So listen, Bills Mafia, I think at this point, to be fair, has a right to be excited about their team, has a right to not talk trash, but go, hey, we are the Kings right now, at least of the AFC East. The Jets and the Dolphins, and now the Patriots, can't really be on that level. So, listen, I get it. It's their fan base. Every fan base has the right to.
It's that time of year.
Yeah, get excited. But, yeah, they're probably a little bit. They need to learn from what the Broncos.
Well, here's the thing. Everyone talks about, and it's funny because they pick and choose what part of the season they want to look at. And they forget what they want to forget. But down the stretch, the Jets, because their offense was just so inept, they forgot their defense was getting wrecked. Yeah. Once people started understanding what way they were set up. So you go back to it. I heard something on the Colin Cowherd show recently. It wasn't Colin. It was his guy was filling in for him. And Albert Breer came on and talked about the Bills. And everyone's like, the Bills are being slept on this year. They were 13-3 last year. They had lost Micah Hyde. They lost Von Miller. They lost Daquan Jones. And they went down the laundry list. And then they talked about the whole DeMar Hamlin thing. Like we were playing with practice squad safeties in the playoffs.
Not only that,
and no one talks about that.
We were getting former Bills players like John Brown, who hasn't played for a couple of years, and Cole Beasley, who was sitting at home, and there was a lot that happened, and we were still 13-3, and we still managed. So yeah, I agree. Like, and I think we definitely improved. Somebody actually commented on my video today about that, and I said, listen, I think we improved, but we'll wait until we see it. I mean, I thought that last year, going into the season, that we improved our O-line. I was terribly wrong.
Yeah.
So I think on paper right now, I do believe that the Bills are better than they were last season on paper, but we'll see when it hits the field. That's those two different things. And we've learned our lesson with that before, guys. So can't really get too hyped.
I like Spen's comment here. Spen says, I like our line on paper. I like our line. We have a lot of depth interior. Finally, the only question mark is right tackle, and we just signed Brandon Shaw. We just signed an offensive tackle who has starting experience.
That is interesting.
Who's a better backup than Questenberry, who gives us more depth to challenge Spencer Brown. Spencer Brown's the incumbent. It's his job to lose.
100%.
But at this point, let's let's see.
I love that. I love that pickup, by the way.
Me too.
Shell's a solid vet. He actually played pretty good for the Dolphins last year. He's more of a run block. Yeah, he's more of a run blocker. But I gotta say, his pass blocking has improved throughout the years. I think he's a solid. Listen, I think we got him for a max of 2. And that's if he reaches all his incentives. So it was a cheap signing. That was a solid signing. Like, that's what Brandon Beane does. I love these kind of sneaky pickups as long as he can stay healthy. But, yeah, you're right. Competition-wise, this is great for Spencer Brown because I don't think anyone would be that upset if Shell winds up winning that job. Let's say he does.
I'll be upset.
I don't think it's going to happen. I wouldn't. And I'll tell you why. I like Spencer Brown. I do, and you know me. I'm all Spencer. I'm team Spencer Brown. But if he beats out Spencer Brown, that means you got something good there, right? That means he's gonna. And Spencer Brown. That doesn't mean the end of Spencer Brown. That just means Spencer Brown needs more work. And we got a guy that's actually better off right now for on a cheap low. So I wouldn't be too upset, but I'm glad we got him. I still think Spencer Brown is our day one starter, Mikey, unless something happens, right? He gets injured, something with his back, or he just plays miserable, or Shell just outright beats him in camp and in preseason. What's your thoughts on that, real quick? Like, what do you think?
Spencer Brown, if he gets beat out, I think it is a big deal because that's another miss for Brandon Bean.
I can see that. But what round was he? Third round? That was
He was a third round pick.
Okay.
They didn't go out and get a bigger named tackle or bring in one of, because they had a shot at a tackle in the first round.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
they chose not to because they believe in Spencer Brown, and it's one of those things,
Okay.
I was like, okay,
I can see that.
They believe in him. So if he was beat out, now I don't think he's gonna be. I think Spencer Brown wasn't healthy much last year at all, and I think that was part of it. At the end of the day, I think he'll be fine. I want to hit Chewy's comment here. It says, how much influence do you think Cromer has in getting these pieces up front? I think this year he had a lot more influence.
I told you,
but
Mikey.
I don't believe that it is done.
No,
I believe he's
it's
at
not.
the very beginning of reshaping this offensive line.
Correct.
In Cromer's fashion, in Cromer's liking.
I told you, Mikey. I told everybody, Cromer. I felt like Cromer last season didn't really have much say. It was kind of like, hey, work with what you got.
It was like Saffold when he came in. That was his.
That's
guy.
what I mean. I know, but it wasn't. I kind of felt like Bean was like, hey,
they went out and got him one of his guys to teach his scheme.
Exactly. Like, let's kind of see what you got here. It was almost like Bean was still thinking what we had was good, but we added Saffold. But I kind of felt like this next offseason, which is this past offseason, I felt like that's where he was going to give Cromer a little bit more say. And like, hey, I want this guy, guy. This guy's, that's what I'm saying. Correct. Jesus. I love it. Absolutely love it.
And they went away from their previous archetypes. And then went out and drafted, Torrance, who didn't fit the old Bills archetype, but he fits kind of what Cromer wants to do.
I mean, look at the right tackle they just got. He's a run blocker.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason. There's that. It's kind of funny that they're going to that direction now, right? I mean, they didn't do that before, so you're right, Mikey.
And then really, it goes back to Spen's, or Chewy's question of, how much do we think that he has? I think absolutely this year has more of his fingerprints on it, and I think going down the line, I don't think he's done by any means, because Mitch Morse isn't a long-term stay on this line. We'll see what Brown is like. I have a feeling Bates slides in to center next year, and I think McGovern's going to be fine. I think Torrance is going to be the starter, and I think Brown hits. And if Dawkins hits, then I think we're good with our starters, because then we slide in Bates, and then we draft a center to do the stopgap, to protect yourself, insurance policy. But Spen comes in and says Doyle's the player he's most curious about in his development. He thought he was on pace to surpass Brown last year. Listen, Doyle was one of those 4-position players. Like, for his size, he played really well on the interior. But he's one of those guys that I agree, if he can come back and get healthy, I think he has a chance. He has a really big ceiling. He had a really low floor, but he has a really big ceiling too. Yeah.
No. I like Doyle. Like, I wasn't big on Doyle when he first came out. I wasn't a fan of him, but I grew to like the dude. Like, he's a hard worker, man, tough kid. It's going to be interesting to see when he's healthy, but he's had a problem with staying healthy. Like, he's had some bad luck, like, so far in his career, early in his career. So we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah. Trick Simpson says, to be honest, it worries me when he hears Dorsey say, "Oh, we don't know what Kincaid's role is going to be." I think he has to say that. I don't think he's giving you anything. Yep. I truly believe they have an idea of what kind of role he's going to have. They're just not going to tell us.
Correct. Listen, they're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you much, Mike. You know that. Real quick, Sean McDermott, and if you guys know, since he's been here, nobody gives nothing. Not defensive coordinator, not offensive coordinator, not the head coach. The only guy who'll give you something is Brandon Bean in the offseason. And he still don't give you much. I think that's the way McDermott rolls, and it makes sense. He's not going to tell you you think he's going to tell you how they're going to prep other defenses. Like, all right, here we go. They're going to do that. No way. They're never going to do that. So go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, it was just coach speak.
Correct.
However, I have the same concerns you do, Triggs, when it comes to Dorsey, because I haven't seen Dorsey use his guys correctly. But also,
I agree with that.
Was it Dorsey or was it execution? According to Diggs, it was more execution. And our O-line was horrible. Someone wrote that in here, and I saw that.
Terrible.
Ben, it broke down so bad that, part of it was Josh. Josh came out and said it. He held the ball too long. Instead of taking the quick checkdowns, he was holding the ball, trying to go deep, make the big play, because he felt he had to. Because
he got away with it in seasons past. And
he got away with it a lot this year too. Deep.
But he also got hurt. He got tagged more. Like there was a big difference.
Because now interior offensive line just let him push back.
Yeah. I agree, man. I don't think it was. I think once again, I keep saying I don't think it was all Dorsey. I agree with you, Mikey, on a sense that he needs to learn. Yeah, I think it was everybody kind of, not on the same page sometimes or not doing their job. But yeah, Dorsey. Listen, year 2, we're gonna see what Dorsey's all about. I don't think there's any excuse now. You have weapons now, Dorsey. You have a decent running back if you could stay healthy. And Harris, who can be your short yardage guy. You have an offensive line, we'll see, hopefully, that can run block now, right? So there's no reason why you can't run the ball on short yardage now. There's no reason why you can't use Kincaid as your, security blanket for Josh when things are you call play for him or whatever. Like, there's good players on this team now, I think, even if we don't get D-Hop, that can get open, make plays. I think last year, that's where we kind of, that's what killed us, right? So, like, all we had was Diggs at some points, and I told you, I love Gabe Davis, but Gabe Davis, he got hurt, and he was so up. Yeah, he was so up and down for the rest of the season, more down than up. A lot of drops, and then we couldn't get like that guy that was Josh's security guy. We had to go get Cole Beasley because Isaiah McKenzie wasn't that guy. So there was a lot that was going on last year. This year, I kind of feel like, Mikey, year 2 of Khalil Shakir, right, coming in. I love his potential. You got Dalton Kincaid, who could be that guy, like I said, as well, who I think will. I'll be honest with you, Mikey. I really do. I think him and Josh are going to really get along. And then I think Gabe Davis could have a bounce back year if he stays healthy, Mikey. I do. And that is just even better for Josh Allen and this Buffalo Bills receiving corps. So we'll see, man. And then, not to mention Sherfield,
I'm a big fan of Sherfield.
I like him.
He's one of those guys that
he's sure-handed too.
He's sure-handed. He's really fast. He plays special teams. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me very much of a Taskgrass type of player, who will just do a little bit of everything, doesn't need a bunch of freaking targets to be productive. He may have 1 or 2 catches a game, but could put an impact on a game.
Yeah, no doubt. You know who was that way back in the day? I'm not sure if you remember, but remember Josh Reed? Yeah. Josh Reed was a solid receiver. That's what Josh Reed did. Gave you about 500 yards a season. That's what Sherfield did.
500 yards a season on about 35 catches.
I'll take it. Take it,
just one of those guys.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm totally good with that.
Chewy comes in and says he's with everything they went through last year, he's going to give him a pass, and that's fine. Give him a pass. Everyone got to feel their own way. I like to hear Josh and Dorsey both say that they're not going to play as much backyard football. They need to because Josh has always been just go get open and I'll get you the ball.
Right.
To get to a more structured offense is what I want to see. Not so many option routes of just get open. Actually have timing routes and those type of things to where Josh knows what his reads are. He's not reading the wide receiver on the and the defense. So seeing more of that, maybe that gets Dorsey a little bit more creative. I'd like to see.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things.
I do want to mention real quick because we talked about this before we went live a little bit. I'm sure you guys want to know a little bit. So the Hopkins situation, right? So we're not alone in this, Mikey. So there's listen. Bills Mafia Twitter has probably, at least a lot of them, have been refreshing every day, right? Every other hour to see any news on D-Hop. So he's been a free agent now about, what, 2 weeks now? About a week and a half?
About a week.
About a week? You think about a week at release? So about a week, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So all the, everything out now that's coming out is he wants to get paid, right? And it wasn't like that before, right?
No.
Before, it was like he's willing to work with this contract. Now, mind you, this is before he was released.
It was also before he had an agent.
Before he had an agent. So here's the deal. Here's what I think. And I did a video on this, Mikey, and I know you watched a little bit of it. I really truly believe the OBJ thing really hampered this. It really is playing a huge role in this, because I'll be honest with you, OBJ is not worth 15 a year. Okay, the Ravens way overpaid. I wanted OBJ. I like OBJ, but he's not. I wouldn't have paid 15. That's ridiculous. So you don't think that? Of course, D-Hop and his agent are looking at that situation, right, Mikey, and saying, "Hey, this guy hasn't played football in like over a year. He's been hurt. He's had ACL surgery twice, right? He's in the last 4 years. I think he's barely played, like in general, right? He's missed so much, and he's still getting 15. Why can't I get 15? Of course. He probably feels he should be worth more than OBJ. So I just have a feeling now, man, at this point, Mikey, and it's his right, obviously, he's free agent. D-Hop's just hopping along, going to every single team that's interested, his agent at least, and they are just building offers. And he's going to probably go, if I had to guess, he's going to do an OBJ deal where it's going to be a 1 year, high, like a 15 mil, 17 mil.
You can go up to like 20, 21.
Exactly. Something crazy. It's going to be a 1 year deal, right? And it's going to be with like Houston or Cleveland.
Dallas.
It's going to be with
they have 20 million
Dallas.
free.
Yeah, exactly.
It's someone that's going to have money. Yeah, someone that's going to have money that can pay him.
Is willing to take the loss too. The L on 1 year.
Because let's be perfectly honest. Dallas, D-Hop is the Jerry Jones type of shiny new toy that he likes to get.
100%. And
you know what? Fine. Send D-Hop to Dallas. I'm okay with that. Just keep him out of the AFC.
That's the only thing Mikey, it's the only thing.
If the Bills don't sign him, I just don't want him to be in the AFC. That's all.
Yeah, that's all. I'm cool with Houston.
Like, I'm so sick of
go with Dallas.
All the good NFC guys coming to the AFC.
Right. So it will be very interesting, Mikey, to see what D-Hop winds up doing. Now, I'm not saying that the Bills are out of the running, but I will say the chances are very, very slim at this point.
We put a cap on it last week when we were asked to. I think I said 70-30. I would probably say 90-10 now.
Yeah,
90-10. He doesn't come here 10.
I was positive.
Yeah, I think there's still a chance that he shows up here because so far no one's offered him anything that he wants, and if he has to take a low ball 1 year offer, I think the Bills are back in play.
Yeah. No, I agree. I how far are the offers, I guess, is like, you know what I mean? That's what it's going to come down to. Like, let's say the Bills offered him 9.5. Just throwing that out there. And Cleveland offered him 13.5. You know what I mean? Is that a huge difference for him to go from Cleveland to Buffalo? You get what I'm saying? Like, that's what it will come down to, at the end of the day, right? I don't know. I honestly, at this point, I don't know. What was Chewy saying? One player.
Yeah. And I'll get back to that 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Steve Lynn says that OBJ contract is mostly options to be earned. No, that most of that OBJ contract is signing bonus, and they have like 3 void years on top of this year. So that money is pushed out like over 4 years.
No, he got paid. OBJ got paid. So
yeah, this year's cap number for OBJ though is like 3.7 million. And then they have the rest of it built out over like 3 or 4 years. It'll be just dead cap on their books.
Right.
Yeah. So let me go back to Chewy's.
Yeah.
Chewy says, Tommy, who is on the bubble this season? 1 for offense, 1 for defense. I can give you mine, but
yeah, you go ahead.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For offense, it's Ken Dorsey. For defense, it's Sean McDermott. I really honestly believe
like
those are the two that are going to be on the bubble this season. From a player standpoint, I don't know who's really on the bubble. Spencer Brown, maybe, but I'll let you go. So before I take some more of your
Bubble
guys,
of cutting cut? No way.
no, just on the bubble. Who needs to have that big year this year to stay?
I'm gonna say one Epinesa for defense for sure. AJ Epinesa. I just really feel like he had still, even though he played better last year. You saw a little.
I mean, he had 6.5 sacks. Most of them were in 2 games.
I just feel like he still hasn't lived up to what they, second round, man. It's still a second round. Offense, that's an interesting one. I would say on offense, it's going to come down to one of these running backs, man. It's going to come down to Murray. I still believe that. Murray and Harris. I do, man, because they got to keep one.
Both of them?
I don't think so, man. I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong, and they could. But I think it's going to be one of the running backs, because Hines could be that one, too, because I don't know if with the whole special teams, the whole kickoff return thing. So I guess, you know what? I changed my mind.
On Hines.
Yeah, I'm going to go Hines. I'm going to go Hines because of the kickoff thing, and it may not even be his fault, guys, why he's on the bubble because of that. But I do like your answer about McDermott, by the way.
Yeah. No, Spin doesn't think he's on the hot seat. I do. I really listen. How long are they going to stick with a guy who can't get over the hump?
Yeah, you eventually gotta. Yeah, you can't.
We've talked about it, and now they told him to take over the defense, because that's where we've really failed in the playoffs over the last 3 years is on defense. I think this is McDermott's bubble season. If it goes bad, I love the guy, and I think he'll be hired in a hot second somewhere else.
Yeah,
but
he would be.
I don't want him to, because he's on the verge of turning into who was the coach for the Bengals?
Marvin Lewis. Edwards.
Marvin Lewis.
Yeah, Marvin Lewis. Yeah.
He's very much on the verge of turning into a Marvin Lewis. Will get you to the playoffs, but can't get you over the top. Or the Andy Reid pre-Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, and how long can you stick with that, right?
Yeah.
And
especially with all these hot shot offensive coordinators coming out.
That's my problem at McDermott. So it's an offensive league, man, guys. And I mean, look at the Super Bowl, right? It was offense for offense. There was no defense there. It's 38-35, man. Like, I'm not saying you don't have to have a defense, but offenses win now, right? And I just feel like McDermott, I feel like he's so stuck in his way sometimes. And on offense, he's sometimes clueless, Mikey. Like, honestly, sometimes he gets lost. And I feel for, like, a guy like listen, he's not offensive minded. So him telling Ken Dorsey what to do, I don't know, man. It's not really not something Ken Dorsey's going to be like, hey, you don't even know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, so how much does Ken Dorsey look for Sean McDermott for advice? Probably never. So listen, Frazier's gone. By the way, Frazier's gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Frazier came out recently. He's going to some like head coaching clinic or something. I don't know what he's doing.
It's a off-season clinic that
helps. So clearly that tells you the dude wants to be a head coach. He's not coming back defense coordinator. I would be shocked. Okay, he's gone. Here it is. I'm telling you, if McDermott can't get this defense on the right track, right, and get this team to a Super Bowl under his watch with his build, then he's never going to do it, guy. Like, eventually you have to have a change. You have to have a change. And that happens when basketball and NBA. Look at the Suns, right? The Suns just fired Monty Williams. By the way, the Pistons hired him. Great coach. But the Suns even had to let him go because
Doc Rivers was just canned again.
Yeah, Doc, like you eventually got.
Yeah,
like listen, some coaches need sometimes even a change of scenery. I mean,
they just need a change of voice in the locker room.
Sometimes it just doesn't fit with those. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. I love Sean McDermott. I love what he did here. But how long? And it's a great question. You said, how long do you stick with him? Like, how many years do we go, okay, we're now in year 8, let's say, right? And wow, we got to the playoffs, but once again, we're out in the divisional
Second
round or
round.
wild card. Yeah, wild card. Or like,
Yep.
when do we go enough's enough where, like, okay, this is great, but we need to, like, there has to be something, like a participation trophy means nothing in this
Okay,
sport.
so we'll come back to this. I want to hit Sonny.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
Sonny comes in with a
from
super
Hawaii.
chat.
Yeah, you know Sonny from Alaska.
Yep,
Yeah.
send a love from Alaska. Guys, just saying it here. Don't sleep on Trent Sherfield. I think he's going to have a bigger impact on offense, and people are going to. Yeah, I do. I love the Sherfield signing. He's a better version of Kumaro. I truly believe that. He's a more upside receiver than Kumaro. He gives you the same special teams value with a higher upside on the offensive side.
Yeah, we're just bringing up like Josh Reed. If you remember Josh Reed, he could kind of do like a Josh Reed kind of role. Go ahead, Mikey.
There was a comment in here. From Spen. Says, yeah, but if you get rid of McDermott, well, to another 17-year drought.
That's not true.
Not with Josh Allen on the roster.
And not with Brandon Beane as still as GM. Brandon Beane, yeah, two things, right. One, what Mikey just said. The problem is when we had that drought year, there was a couple problems, right? A lot of problems, really. But the main problem was a terrible GM in place, right?
Front office.
Front office, yeah, ownership, GM, everything.
Yeah.
So it all starts from the top, works its way to the bottom. So if you don't have that in place, you're never going to get the right guys in place, right? Like in order, right? So they never hired the right guy, right? It was always Greg Williams and this guy and that guy. And, like they never could get it right. Then the drafts were bad. Why? Because they kept firing the head coaches who wanted this style and that style. And Dick Geron wanted this guy and that guy. And it never worked out. It was looking for a quarterback. Now we want a running back instead. Let's get Fitzpatrick. Let's sign this guy. So it was just a disaster. I don't think under Brandon Beane that would ever happen. It just wouldn't. Like, listen, Brandon Beane has done a really a good job. I don't know about phenomenal, but damn close. He's done a great job since being here. And I don't think if losing Sean McDermott, all of a sudden Brandon Beane would just drop the ball and not know what to do. He would go out there. He would find a good coach that fits this system that would fit for Josh Allen, that Josh Allen would respect, that the players respect, and that's it, man. I don't think the drought years would come after that. I don't believe that.
I don't.
Go ahead.
I also don't want to see McDermott go. I want McDermott to win here.
I do. 100%. I would love it. Yeah, dude, that would be so great. Like, honestly, like, listen. McDermott got here in 2017. We made the goddamn playoffs. Like, that was unbelievable. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was shocked, Mikey, in my living room. Like, that day. I was like, I didn't know what to do. Like, so you have to give credit where credit is due. McDermott's been very good since arriving in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. But once again, to your point.
But he's being outcoached by better coaches in the playoffs.
Okay, you're right. Right when you get to that playoff spot, now you got the big dogs. Now you got all the guys that are, most of the teams in the playoffs, they got good head coaches or very rarely.
Most of them are offense too.
Right. And very rarely is it like a bad coach or a young coach who's never been. Now it happens here and there. Fine. But for the most part, these coaches know what they're doing. They're offensive minded. You got the Andy Reeds. You got, guys that he was under, right? Like he was under the Andy Reid system. Can't beat Andy Reid yet, right? Yeah. So he eventually has to get there, Mikey. You got to make the next step, and McDermott still hasn't made that next step. He's made the one step that he promised, the AFC East, right? All right, cool. I love it. I absolutely love it. Still haven't won the AFC, right?
Nope.
Right? We haven't got the home field advantage. Not that it's any good, but right, Buffalo. So I don't even know if I want that.
Like honestly, until last year, we were undefeated under McDermott at home in the playoffs. Last year was just a weird year. It was. It's one of those years you chalk up, say it was. Just
I agree.
Odd.
I agree. It was.
So let's hit Triggs's comment, and he says, "I'm just saying, if McDermott gets fired, don't be surprised that Eric Bieniemy is new. I do not want Bieniemy. I want no part of that guy.
Yeah, I think
Like
I think
I've
Reed's-
heard many players talk about how he is. Going from a McDermott to a Bieniemy would crush the culture that we've built here.
I'm not even thinking about head coach change right now, though.
Yeah.
But like I said, if it happened, trust me when I tell you, Brandon Bean would find the right
I guess this is my own
guy.
fault since I
Yeah.
put him on the hot seat.
No, that's fine. But
Since I put him on the bubble. This
I
conversation's
don't
on me.
blame you, though. I mean, listen, we talked about this like 3 weeks ago, Mikey, and I told you. I think it's a huge year for him that he's in charge. That's a big responsibility, Mikey. He's taking on 2 roles, man. Right? Like this is it. And if he drops the ball here, it's not gonna be like. Listen, Leslie Frazier, for as much as Bill's Mafia, was like, not too happy with him during the regular season. He had a top 5 defense, right? He was a good defense coordinator. So if McDermott comes in here and doesn't at least match in that top 5, top 10 range of defense, they're going to be a problem. You know what I mean? There'd be a big problem in Buffalo. Like, I'm just throwing that out there. That means he can't handle the job of doing both jobs at the same time. Then what do you do next? Does McDermott say, okay, I need to have Babbage take over for now so I can concentrate back on coaching? You know what I mean? Like,
Ooh,
I'm curious how that works. I will say this, though. The one thing that works in his favor, though, it is all his guys. It is his system. It's not like it's new guys coming in. Like, they have to understand his ways. Like, I think a player actually said, who was it? He was on, I want to say Pat McAfee. Was some player. Was it Micah Hyde or somebody? Or maybe it was Micah Hyde being interviewed and he was like, hey, I think it was a reporter. He asked him, how's the defense like so far? Like, what do you feel? Like, is there any difference? He's like, honestly, it's pretty much the same. It's the same. Which kind of worries me.
Well, I mean,
I hope it's a little bit more aggressive. It is OTA.
it's only OTAs. It's not.
I know. I get it.
When we get into game plans, I think it's gonna be different.
I would hope so.
He said you see McDermott a little bit more because I did listen to that same interview.
Right.
So you see McDermott a little bit more. You also hear McDermott and Allen kind of talking out on the field. Because McDermott's now running the defense. Like to where Josh would probably say to Leslie, now he's doing it to McDermott.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that's interesting, man. Golly,
I heard one of them say that when the defense won one day, like I think McDermott came in and said, "We're up 1-0." Popped his head into the offensive room and said, "Defense up 1-0," and left.
That's funny, man.
Like that type of stuff I love.
I do too. Yeah, and I'm 100%.
Yeah, Triggs, you're not wrong. The stats show offensive head coaches are winning the Super Bowls right now.
100%.
Matter of fact, offensive head coaches are the guys who were getting them to the playoffs. There was 2 defensive head coaches that made the playoffs last year, and I think there's only been like 2 defensive coaches in the last. Like there hasn't been more than 2 in the last 7 years or something like that.
Right.
That were defensive head.
I mean,
coaches
look at the Super Bowl teams, though, Mikey. Just in general, right?
Yeah.
Got the Chiefs. They're an offensive team, man. I'm not saying now. Once again, I'm not saying you gotta just have a bad defense, but they are an offensive team. Philadelphia was pretty much an offensive team. They had a good defense, but they're an offensive team. Tampa Bay, when they won with Brady, that was an offensive team. They had really good offense at that time when Brady came and all that. Cincinnati Bengals, who made it to the Super Bowl and lost, they had a good offense, right? They beat the Chiefs. I'm just saying. So most of the time, it's an offensive team. You'll have here and there, Mikey, a Baltimore Ravens, a back in the day, a Tampa Bay back in the day that their defense won them, but it's super rare, Mikey. You need an offensive team. Go ahead, Mikey.
I love this from Beth. This is getting wild. Here's a thought: the D gets better. Dorsey does great. Sean says both is too much, and he loves being the DC. We get a new head coach next year.
Never gonna happen.
Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. You don't leave a head coach to become a DC. Although I love the out of the box thinking, Beth.
Yes,
because if that was gonna happen, that should have happened this year, and we should have went and got Sean Payton.
Correct. I agree. But hey, man, listen. If we win a Super Bowl and he's a DC, I'll say never let that DC spot ever again. Right? You be head coach, defense coordinator, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
stick to what you're doing. Don't even want another defense coordinator if we win a Super Bowl like that.
I listen to Bobby Babbage talk.
I like him.
If he coaches the way he talks in press conferences,
oh, dude, yeah.
That keep an eye on that kid. That kid's gonna be
I was gonna mention him to you. Yeah,
he's so
smart.
He is so smart.
Yeah, man. Smart,
like he's
smart
one
kid.
of those
young.
Like, you see a lot of those guys on the offensive side. You don't see a lot of those guys on the defensive side. He seems like, and Micah Hyde sings his praises.
Yeah. Hey, upcoming coach. You never know, man. You know they got to start somewhere, man. So I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that.
Thomas comes in and says, "We'll never know if it was Frazier or McDermott, but we'll find out this year."
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%. That's what I can't wait to see. I want to see the difference throughout a whole season with McDermott on it.
Triggs, Allen would drive Sean Payton crazy. Yeah. Because Sean Payton is structure, 100% structure on his offense. Josh Allen is not. See, that's where I think we need to get Allen better. I think our offense needs to become more structured. You know, Josh, 1, 2, 3. If primary 1 and 2 isn't open, you go straight to our check down. Because what's happening is Josh is going 1, 2, looking for that deep guy,
Right.
crap, go to the check down guy. The check down guy catches it and gets hit.
By that time, it's way too late. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no yards after the catch.
Right.
Or looking and saying, okay, I'll look at it. My check down guy can get me 13 yards on a quick just toss out to him and let him run. But Josh wants that big, deep wide receiver shot.
But I still think
that's where he can get better.
Yeah, to Josh's credit, though, I mean, and we'll have to see it when he gets on the field, but he is at least acknowledging that he needs to do better in that, and I will say, too, I don't know if you noticed, but Josh looks like he's trimmed down a little bit. Right? I don't know. He looks like he's trimmed down a tad. His speed, he looks a little. I mean, listen, a lot of people making fun of him because he was doing that in OTAs. He was guarding I think a running back at the play.
Whoever
corner.
number 35 is.
Yeah, I thought. Listen, yeah, he got beat at the end, but he held his own for most of the way.
Well, he held his own as the running back was jogging, and then you saw the running back turn on
the Jets, yeah, and then lose them. Yeah, he's on a corner, but I like the fact that it's funny that he's doing that, but he does in that video. You see him. He's looked like he trimmed down a little bit.
He does.
But I will say this though. Yeah, Allen is talking the right game so far this offseason. He's acknowledging that he needs to get better, that he needs to, get to the guy that's take the guy that's open. You don't necessarily always need to go for the big play. Take what the defense is giving you. And a lot of times Josh doesn't do that, right? Like you said, he wants that big play so badly, and sometimes he gets it, and it's great, and we love it. But a lot of times he doesn't. It's frustrating. He gets sacked or it's a short yard, doesn't work out. Incomplete, whatever,
whatever the case may be.
Right. So it's like, dude, like you gotta take some times what the defense is giving you, even if you don't like it, you feel like it's only 5 yards. Let your players make plays because that 5-yard pass, right? That 5-yard pass could turn into a 15, 20. You got a Naeem Hines sitting there with electric speed that's wide open. Yeah, it looks like it's only a 4-yard pass, 5 yards, sure, but he could turn that thing into 20. So you got to start letting your players make plays. You know what I mean? I feel like, and that's why I told you last season, I kind of feel like Allen sometimes doesn't trust those guys. You know what I mean? Like he looks for certain guys. You know what I mean? Like it took him a long time, and I still don't think he got on with him and Hines were on the same page, where he fully trusted to throw him the ball.
Hines didn't fully know the playbook.
No, I know that, but I'm saying even when he was wide open, there was plays that Hines was like, and he still. I feel
there
like
wasn't
Allen
just Hines. There was a lot of the
a lot of players
wide open.
100%.
Dawson Knox was open so much underneath that was never through to him. But
he needs to take that. Go ahead.
Yeah, Triggs' comment says Josh talked about how he wanted to be more focused on film study, not be as reliant on his instincts. So a lot of what you were just saying there to become more structured. And we need that because if you go back to that the first game last year against the Rams, we had a crap ton of underneath stuff, underneath. And then we hit them big. and then we hit them big. And then we did the same thing in Tennessee against Tennessee. We went underneath, then hit them big.
Those
two
games were I thought
some of the best.
When we started 2-0, those 2 games, Mikey, and I remember coming on with you, doing our post game because we went on live. I remember saying, "Damn, you guys see Dorsey? You see this offense? Like this is exactly what we've been preaching. Like get the ball out of his hand quickly. You know what I mean? And then go. Like it was looking like it started off exactly how me and Mikey and a lot of people thought. Yeah, like we're like this is it. This is great. And then it just changed.
Well, what happened was, if you go back, I can tell you where it happened.
It was the Pittsburgh game. 100%.
He started hitting those deep bombs,
and he was getting excited, boy.
He got excited, and then
I think Dorsey got excited.
Yeah,
and Dorsey was like, "Oh, you like it? Yeah, I'm gonna dial it up every freaking game. That's all we're gonna do is just bomb it away." Oh man, yeah, I agree with you. It worked there, but it doesn't work with every team.
Have a no trade clause in his contract?
Yeah, I know, right? What the hell, man?
Scott comes saying, Alan on an eating regimen, no wings at 3 a.m.
Yeah, he got himself a new girlfriend. Maybe he's trying to look buffer. I don't know. Just throwing that out there. Oh, by the way, real quick, Mike, I know it's non-Bills related, but you see that what's his name's leaving? Skip Bayless. Show. Yeah, bouncing, man. They're buying out his contract. Boy, something happened there.
Well, I mean, go listen to Microphone.
Oh, I know. I remember.
Yeah, like we were talking about Microphone before this.
Yeah.
He outlines everything that's happened over the last 4 months.
Yeah, I remember. I know a couple,
Yeah.
The big thing was that, obviously the Lamar thing. And then before that was the Hall of Fame thing where he was like really. Yeah, that was brewing.
Calling him jealous and
yeah.
He's like, that was a scrub.
That was brewing, and it finally happened. So,
and then he had to give an apology that he didn't really give an apology.
Yeah, some half-ass apology.
Yeah.
So, anyways, guys, so he is longer.
That's who Skip is, though. He's a troll.
Shannon is leaving, so just throwing that
But
out
Skip
there.
Also thinks that Baker Mayfield's better than Josh Allen.
I know, it's unbelievable. But he's just, I think at this point of his career for Skip Bayless, he's just, like, what'd you say?
He's a really good villain.
He's a villain. He just wants that. He wants you to stay on there and hate him and listen to him, throw his hate out there so you can, basically listen to him. I mean,
it's clickbait for him.
Clickbait. Yeah, exactly. Live.
He's a good job of getting people angry at him and watching and, to prove him wrong. It's like a car wreck. Thomas comes and says, guys, I just love that Knox won't be an offensive factor this year. He had the drops. Hope the rookie can be awesome. I'll tell you right now, Thomas, if he is not an offensive factor this year, I'm going to be extremely upset. We are paying that man $14 million a year. We better be using him.
I don't know what's going to happen if he's not.
Well, he does have an out, and I told you this.
Yeah.
In this contract, we can actually get out of it next year.
I'll tell you the truth, Mikey. And I like Dawson Knox, and it bothers me because I like the dude. I like him. Like, he's a good dude, man. Like, honestly, good family. Like, great with Jot. Like, they're good friends. But, man, getting a lot of money, bud. And if you can't do it, if you can't live up to your contract and there's a way out, Brandon Beane, buddy, it's a business. Gotta let him go. But I'm hoping it works out. Like, I do, because I like him. But I'm going to tell you the truth, Mikey. Kincaid is going to probably, I have a feeling.
He's a different type of tight end.
He's but I'm saying he's going to wind up getting more, I think, targets.
Oh, so do I, because he's going to be our slot guy.
I know, slot/tight end.
Yeah.
But I will say this, too, though. If you get rid of Dawson Knox next season, you need to then, because Kincaid is not a blocking
an
tight
inline
end.
blocker. He's not an
right.
inline blocker.
You're going to need then to either
like
figure that
Travis
out.
Kelce is.
Yeah,
Travis Kelce is not.
Exactly. But then you're going to have to figure it out in the draft or his replacement or in free agency.
And I'll be right. I'll be honest. We have not done well in picking tight ends in free agency.
Absolutely not. No, terrible. Tyler Kroft, who that drove me nuts. Like, some of the moves I don't even want to go. Oh,
Yeah, we won't go down that road. But yeah, we've had really bad selections on tight ends and
OJ Howard.
I mean, but we've had some really bad selections on defensive tackles and defensive ends in free agency too.
You're right.
We've wasted a lot of money on big time players who have done nothing.
Absolutely. By the way, real quick too, we talked about Shell. We released somebody, and I was kind of surprised.
Brandon Bryant,
yes,
defensive tackle.
I am very surprised because I like Bryant. I thought he was a good. He actually did pretty well last year as a fill-in.
You know what that tells me is some of the younger guys are doing better. You know, the DJ Dale,
they're liking their potential.
Yeah. They think that they could use them
more
in
upside,
that slot. Yep.
Cheaper too, probably.
I see a path to DJ Dale actually making the roster.
Yeah, I like him. I do like him. I think he might be right.
And because he's more of a rotational defensive tackle, and he was at Bama, but when he's on the field, the dude's productive.
Yeah, 100%.
And he 100%. may not make the roster come straight out, but I can see him making practice squad and then being a call up if there's any kind of injury.
Yeah.
So I think our four D line or our 5 D linemen are pretty much set at D tackle. We're gonna carry 5 this year. We're gonna have Oliver, Jones, Phillips, Settle, and Ford.
By the way, we did pick up a receiver too. I don't know his name offhand.
Ottman.
Yes, he played for the Raiders, I believe.
6'4", and then he went to the USFL.
Right, so he's a bigger receiver.
Yep.
XFL. Who's the guy? We also got a guy from the XFL, correct? They're both 6'4".
I think that is him.
Okay, so he played for. I know he played last year for the XFL. He had like 3.
And I think before that
he was also
USFL too.
He was also injured.
Yeah,
which I don't like. There is another guy too. So we talked about him last week. Real quick, I want to mention him. The Shane Ray. It's interesting. Yeah. It's so interesting. That one is a very interesting player to watch for, guys. Like I really think, because that guy was his rookie year was really good, Mikey, and he had potential, man, and he just fell off a cliff, right, with injuries, and he just fell out of the league. What do you think about Ray? Like Ray's chance of making this roster, man? I mean, I think it's up there, or you think it's a slim?
I think it's 50-50.
Okay.
He is a lottery ticket. Because he was coming on, until he broke his wrist and had multiple surgeries on his wrist, and he just could never get it right. And then pushed him out of the league. If he comes back and he's right, he had the talent to be, there's a first round pick for a reason,
right.
And it wasn't even like he was a first round pick that just busted out. He was a first round pick that had 2 really good seasons and was coming on and then got hurt and was never the same. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things of, I think he's got a shot. He's a 50-50. He's going to have to beat out Shaq or Boogie Basham to make it.
And Boogie Basham, another disappointing guy who's not.
But it's year 3 for him, so we'll see. But my thing with Boogie Basham was he didn't have a lot of ceiling left because he was an older college player. He was supposed to come in and be the one that was pro ready, and he just hasn't been lived up to the hype again. And knowing that we took him over a Creed Humphreys makes me want to throw up.
I know. Dark horse, Chewy's asking. Who's your dark horse to make the team?
Dark horse to make the team.
That's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
Because there's quite a bit of players that are going to, get cut that we may not like. They wind up either practice squad or picked up from another team.
I honestly, I don't think there's going to be any dark horses that make this team. I really don't.
That's
I think the darkest would be on the defensive side. Maybe a Shane Ray or a DJ Dale.
That's what I'm thinking
if there's
too.
An injury, if there's an injury,
yeah.
But from an offensive perspective, I don't know if there's any dark horses that are going to make this team.
What about a Shorter?
I think Shorter's the lock for this team.
He's a lock on a 53?
I believe so.
Special teams?
Yep. His special teams is going to be his role as he grows into an offensive person. Because I think our wide receivers, unless we go out and sign like a D-Hop, and then Shorter's gets pushed to
Right.
the end because
Right.
it's Gabe, it's Diggs, it's Shakir, it's we just talked about him,
Sherfield, and the Hardy.
Yep, Hardy, and our
Yeah.
sixth will be Shorter.
Hardy's interesting too, though, for me, because
Hardy's
once again,
contract tells you he's going to be on this roster.
I think so too, only because of the punt return ability.
No.
But the kick return, he could do too if Hines doesn't make the squad because of the new rule. Just throwing that out there.
That's why Hines would be a bubble guy for me as well, because there's a lot of money we can save by by cutting him. We won't save a ton this year.
I feel bad. I feel so bad for that guy, man. I do, man. Like, the new NFL rules screwed a lot of these guys. He won't be, by the way, he won't be alone in that. Like, there's going to be a lot of guys.
Another guy, Matakevich.
Yeah, man.
He's a kickoff guy.
By the way, real quick,
there's still a lot of money.
There's still some players out there. So I did see what's his name? I can't. Yeah, Yannick's still out there, and I believe
Frank Clark's still out there.
Frank Clark and the linebacker that you like out of Jackson. That was in Jacksonville.
Miles Jack.
So do you see Buffalo if the D-Hop thing doesn't happen? Because they've been picking players up though here and there, right? Like weird. I don't know why they're picking receivers up at this point. But do you see them picking up, like, if a guy were to take a minimum, like a Yannick or Jack, or you think they're done? Because it doesn't seem like they're done.
I would
keep on signing people.
Yeah, I would love to see a Justin Houston or a Yannick or one of those guys come in.
Houston, yeah.
I'd love to see, or any one of those guys, veteran guys that come in. But I just don't see it happening. I think linebackers, I think they're going to go with what they got. I don't think they're bringing a linebacker in.
Yeah, I don't think I agree with you. The way they've been talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick too on Vaughn. Vaughn saying,
don't listen to Vaughn. Don't listen to Vaughn.
By the way, yes.
Guy, just don't listen to him.
We have what is that? A special like when the CBS or NBC does, and this is for you to know. Like
Von Miller. Von Miller says,
don't ever listen to whatever Von Miller says, because man, it's like, dude, I love his optimistic ways, but my God, Von, like you were so wrong on everything. Like just I love you, man, but just get healthy.
Like Vaughn, even last year, he said, "Oh, I'll be back in a couple of weeks," and then he had ACL surgery and stuff for the year. Like, Vaughn, just stop talking, buddy.
My God, I don't think he said anything right. Yeah, man, it's time, bro. Vaughn, just chill out, bro.
Yeah,
just relax, man.
Listen, if you listen to the Von Miller thing, he says that he feels he'll be ready for week 1. But if you listen to the whole thing, he also says he's going to listen to what the medical staff and GM have to say. So he'll be ready when they tell him that he can go out and play when he's needed.
Yeah.
He would like week 1 against Aaron Rodgers, but the Bills, you're gambling if you sit him out there week 1. In an 18-week season, a 35-year-old defensive end, sit him for the first, 6 weeks.
Right. I love the like I said.
Then let him play the last, Let him play the last, what?
Steve, positive dude. He is a positive dude. I love that about him.
He is, and I love. He does. He loves everything, and he puts nothing but positive energy out into the world.
It's just not always the case, right? Like, I love when he was on McAfee, and he was like, they were talking about D-Hop, and he's like, D-Hop said that he wants to play for a team that has a great quarterback, a great front office, and good leadership, and that's Buffalo Bills. I thought
he's talking about us.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? J.J. Watt said the same thing, and it came down to the almighty dollar.
Yeah, and I want to refresh everyone's memory real quick, and I did the video I did. I want to refresh everyone's memory. Vaughn, you came to Buffalo, and you were extremely paid. Right? Like it's not like you came on this like where you were thinking, man, you know what? I want to play for a great. I'm going to come for a lot cheaper. Like,
Yeah,
no,
no.
bro. We probably a little overpaid you, and I'm cool with it. But it's not like you were preaching.
I don't think we overpaid him. He got the same
I'm
deal
just saying,
that
we didn't pay him
Chandler
cheap
Jones.
either. Like,
No,
we
he
paid
got
him.
market value. He got market
Okay,
value.
fine. Market value, but it was pretty high. I'm just saying, like, it was up there. You're right, though.
Yeah,
He
the
was up
market-
there with Jones. I think he got
Yeah.
the same kind of deal. But either way, but a lot of people still were like, damn, 30's on there. Same thing with D-Hop, but he's like, the way he's talking was like, hey, like, it's easy. Go and sign. Like, I'm sure D-Hop would just come, like, no, bro. D-Hop
wants to get paid.
his money. Right? Like, and I know you're not a GM yet, and I know you're studying or you want to be, but you need to learn the cap space and all that, because we can
create the cap space for D-Hop if we wanted.
You could, but it depends. But Mikey,
if we wanted to.
I still don't think you want to pay 15. You get what I'm saying? I'm not comfortable.
We could do the cap space where we can get his cap number down to like 4 this year. But it's gonna be one of those things of we're gonna push some money down the line. How far do we want to push it down? How
comfortable are you with
with his medicals? Like
right, and what do you feel? And then not only that, how do you really think that he'll do on this? Like, is he going to be worth it? Like in the long haul, you know what I mean? So Bean has to, and that's tough. I wouldn't want to be a GM, but you got it on it. Like, because listen, here's the problem. Let's say they paid him that. Let's say they wind up paying him. They figured a way, and let's say D-Hop gets hurt, or let's say D-Hop's just not what he was. Oh my God, it's going to be the worst signing ever. We're going to look like fools, and then we're wrapped up in this contract. So I think that's the part where he's on the fence, right? Because he knows what D-Hop's all about, but you also got to know, okay, D-Hop's in the 30s.
Also, how does that impact Gabe Davis?
How does that impact? All right, well, who's on it? Well, that's tricky too, Mikey, because he's on his contract. But you're right.
Well, it's not just his contract, but you don't want to stunt his growth.
No, I get it. I get that too. Right. Like, what do you do? And then you gotta. It's tough, Mikey.
And we gambled last year that Davis was ready for that role, and he wasn't.
I agree. I
So
agree.
Are we going to gamble again that he's ready for the role this year?
I'm with you, and I'm with a lot of people. I think he needs to find a way to get it done, but ultimately, it's down to the player, man. And if if Houston or Cleveland give him a good signing guarantee, he's not coming. It's not like you just said. Like, I just don't see it happening with Bean.
I'm a
giving
90-10. He's not coming.
Yeah, I want him to though. Like I would hope.
I'd love to have him.
Yeah, I would hope that it's not so far off where he says, "Hey, like, okay, it's only a couple mil off, but I really want to win like now, and I love this team." Like, I would hope that be his thinking, but I don't know how far off we are. That's the major
reports
problem.
He wants more than OBJ got.
Right, but that's the problem. Like, that is a major problem. Like, I don't see. Like, I think Bean's like, hey, like you said, how Bean is. I got my. This is where I'm comfortable with, and I'm not budging. And he sticks to his guns, man. It's maybe sometimes it's a bad thing, and maybe it's sometimes a good thing. But right here, I think, and I've been listening to a lot of people. What do you think our receiving core is ranked right now, Mikey? Like, where are we at right now?
Mid-teens.
Exactly. So
17, 18, something like that.
Now you add D-Hop, where are we at?
Top 8.
Exactly. So
because then you push Gabe to 3, and he becomes one of the best 3s, and then you have the Shakir, Sherfield, Hardys as your 4, 5, 6 guys. Now that's looking a whole lot better. Right.
And that's something that Bean has to take account for. You have to. He has to look at what this offense has done.
Shit.
He doesn't have to.
That's obvious.
But I'm saying, but it's his job to. He has to at least evaluate what this offense did last year and say, okay, can Gabe, like, he has to think, like you were saying, can Gabe have a bounce back year if healthy? Can Gabe do more? Can Gabe produce what we thought he could last year this year? You know what I'm saying? And that's what's boiled down to, because Gabe Davis doesn't perform the way they thought he was, or he underperforms again, that's a problem. It's a major problem for this offense.
It's gonna be a detriment to our Super Bowl chances.
Right. And then we're gonna all sit back and say, why didn't we get D-Hop?
And that's
you know what I mean?
And that's gonna sit directly at the feet of Brandon Beane.
Correct. Yeah. And I
He's
won't lie.
overvaluating
I
guys
won't
he
lie.
drafts.
I won't lie. I'll say it too. Like, I will not lie. If things
Because
don't
here's what's
go
going to
well,
happen if
I
Gabe
might
does
say that
not
well.
move on, if Gabe does not get better, if his drops continue to happen, if he disappears like he did last year, people are going to put the blame on Dorsey, and some of it needs to go back to Beane and his inability to put more big time weapons around,
Correct.
Josh Allen.
Correct.
Like they're banking right now on Kincaid coming in.
He's a
and being
rookie, but he's a rookie.
He's a rookie.
Yeah,
exactly. And he's a raw rookie at that.
Right. Right.
He's had 1 year of real college production.
We have no idea what he's going to do year one. He could be. Listen, some players don't jump out the gate right away, and sometimes players take a year.
Yeah, Thomas.
A couple of seasons.
This goes back to what we were just saying. Everyone's expecting Kincaid to come in and be this everything savior, but the dude transferred from San Diego State to Utah, had one productive year, and then got drafted super high.
Right.
Now, does he have talent? Yes. Can you expect him to come in the league and just light it up? Dude,
I mean, it could happen. Anything could happen.
The guys that I've seen do that are the Justin Jeffersons, had multiple years of high production.
Exactly.
The Waddles, multiple years of high production. Devontae Smith, multiple years. Like, you go back and look at these guys, they had multiple years of high production. These 1 year production guys usually take a little bit of time to get going,
especially too in a big in a better division in college too, going against better defenses.
Triggs.
Listen, you never know. Like you said, Mike, he could have a breakout year, but I'm gonna say right now, I don't think it's gonna be. I think he's gonna do good, but I think it's gonna take him a year or two to really get familiar with the system. Be that guy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I just don't. But I hope he comes out the gate and Josh is just and him are just lighting it up. But I don't see it happening right away. I feel like they're gonna ease him in more the first season. But we'll see. I don't know. But listen, Mikey.
It hasn't been, buddy.
Yeah. I just don't know, man. I don't know. I hope we get D-Hop, but I just don't. Like you said, I think right now I was more optimistic last week. This week, man, I'm on the other side of the fence now. I think it's right now. It's probably 85-15.
Listen,
I just don't see it happening.
Hitting Spence comment here. He says, "When's the last time a tight end went ham in his rookie year?" It was. There hasn't been any that's been really like went ham.
Well, you can go back
solid years.
Shockey had so for us though?
No, just in general. Just in tight ends in general.
Okay, well, Shockey had
Shockey's been retired and out of the league for how long?
No, I know. I'm just trying to think of guys that pop in my mind.
But even Gronk year one wasn't Gronk.
I thought the guy Hernandez played okay as year one. I thought he was pretty, but you're right. He wasn't unbelievable, but he had a good rookie
the
season.
last one was Noah Fant. He had a semi good year.
What about Pitts? I thought Pitts had a good year. Didn't Kyle Pitts have a good year for Atlanta? His rookie year? I thought he had a decent, didn't he?
But he was the only weapon that they had that year.
I know, but I'm saying, if you go, I think Kyle. I would say it's safe to say Kyle Pitts then. Even though he was his only weapon, I thought Kyle Pitts had a decent for a tight end. I think he's our last.
But he was more of a wide receiver than a tight end.
I agree. He's built like a receiver.
Yeah, much like Kincaid.
Yeah.
But like a true tight end, I would probably say Noah Fant. He had 500, 600 yards and 8 touchdowns his rookie year.
That's
he hasn't done crap since.
No.
But his rookie year, he had a really good year. But none of them's gone real ham.
The Lions tight end. The old
Hopkins,
tight end.
He had a horrible rookie year.
Did he? Okay. You're right. He had a bounce back second year.
Yeah.
And then they wound up. Yeah. You're right. And they wound up getting rid of him. You're right.
Why? Hernandez had a killer year.
Yep. No, you're right. With the tight ends, it's
Pitts had flashes, but went quiet down the stretch. You're right, Spen. He was hot early and then went quiet down the stretch, and then he did nothing in year 2 and then got hurt.
Yeah.
Everyone putting all the pressure on a rookie tight end is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I agree.
It really
with that.
is.
I agree with that.
Like
100%.
I want to see more Shakir in year 2. I want to see more Gabe Davis getting back to what Gabe Davis was.
Yep.
Catch the damn ball, Davis.
Right, catch the ball.
Because Davis dropped a lot of really big time plays that could have, like even that Jets loss, he hit Davis in the arms and he dropped it on that bomb.
I know, man, right in the freaking face. Like it's like, dude, you could have thrown it better. 80-yard pass, man.
Catch the damn ball off his left foot with a banged up arm, and he drops it in the bucket, and you drop it.
Right, I agree. But like I said, man, I'm gonna give him benefit of the doubt. I do think the injury to his ankle did kind of take a little part of that.
Yeah.
Even Brandon Beane said that. So I'm gonna give him a little bit of a kind of a pass because of that injury, Mikey. I think it was more severe than people know. I think that like it was a. By the way, that happened in practice. I think it was like a freak thing.
Yeah.
When he rolled his ankle.
The chat's cracking me up, dude. Sorry, Tommy. I know you're talking, but they're cracking me up. Me talking about that bomb that Dave said he dropped triggered Thomas. Spen comes in and says, we just need Kincaid to be a third down chain mover and red zone threat. You're right. We don't need him to have 80 catches and 1,000 yards and multiple touchdowns. We need him to be the reliable,
the safety blanket.
Yep.
That's it.
That's all we need.
A guy that is, Josh's third option when things aren't,
when things are going bad, he can check it down to that guy and he knows he's going to be open and he's going to securely catch the ball. That's one thing about Kincaid that's better than some of the other weapons that we have. His hands, grayed out as elite.
Right. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how it rolls out, man. But
yeah. So it'll be interesting. All right, hey, dude, for not having anything to talk about, Tommy, we dropped another hour plus.
Hey, chat, y'all were with it because I was like, damn, I got nothing tonight.
I'm like, we'll have a 30, 45 minute, show.
Grasping at straws here, man. I'm like, I have nothing planned. I think the title was just like, Buffalo Bills weekly report. Weekly report. Woo! Yeah.
So let's do one last thing.
Yeah,
we talked. We never did come back and do this. So give me your top 3 most important Bills players.
Oh wow, we never went
back and did that top 10.
Was that like, when did we do that?
We were supposed to do it like 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah.
So
we'll do it next week. We'll do it next week. So give me your top 3. No, I want you to give me your top 3. Who's the most important Bills players for this year? Your top 3.
All together. Offense, defense. Okay, top 3.
Yep.
Okay, so number 1, I'm going to go Josh Allen. Now, is this coaches or is this players? You said players.
Just give me players. Just give me top 3 players.
Okay. So Josh Allen for sure. He always has to, right? Number 2, Tre'Davious White.
Okay.
I think this is very important because if he doesn't,
I like that.
If he doesn't perform well this year, like if he looks like he kind of like he was last year, no, he can't start to come around a little bit, but if he can't go back to even kind of close to what he was, the Bills need to start thinking about something in the next season. I'm just saying. So I think it is an important year for him, very important player to watch for because he is our number 1 corner. And by the way, the AFC has a ton of good receivers now. So, and that means Tre'Davious White is going to be going against the number 1 most of the time. And yeah, we need the old Trey back, or at least damn close to it. That's Trey second. And then third, Osiris Torrance. I think Osiris Torrance, this is a big year for rookie year. He's going to start. I don't care what anyone says. He's going to be the right guard. And I think he can really make this offensive line work in the run game and even protecting Josh and get that running game going that we've been missing. So those are my 3 players, but there's a lot, honestly.
Yeah.
But I'm just
okay. I'll do mine, and then we can throw in a few if we want.
All right.
Thomas says he hopes Trey has his head right. From all the reports that have come out from the beat reporters, is Trey's back to laughing and having fun again at practice.
Thank God.
Because he was uptight last year, man.
He was not as I told you, right?
Yeah, he was
press
just
conferences were
yeah.
Like he just seemed like he was miserable. which he probably was, because think about it, Mikey, right? Real quick before you do. If you know what you can do, like mentally, like you're like, hey, I've done this all my life. Like you played softball, right? Let's say you're really good at home runs, right? And you got hurt, and then you come back, and all of a sudden you just can't hit a home run.
Have no power.
Right. Like you're just, it's, of course, you're not going to, now, mind you, you won, whatever. Let's say your team won, but mentally you're not happy, right? Because you know yourself. You know you're better than that. But for some reason you can't do it.
Your body isn't.
Your body's not allowing you. Yeah,
yeah.
You're right. You're mentally, you're like, yeah, I know I could do it, but you physically, you're not able to. And I'm sure that bothered him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I think Trey was just really down on himself.
I mean, he got better as the season went.
He
and
did.
His best game was that last game.
It was,
so
yeah.
I'm excited to see Trey back to his normal self. So I'm not going to put Allen in there because obviously everyone knows Allen's the most important player to it. So my number 2, Micah Hyde.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
Missing Micah Hyde last year changed our entire defense.
100%.
We missed that center fielder. We missed that defensive captain. Micah Hyde's my number 2. My number 3 is Spencer Brown. If he can lock down that right tackle with the upgrades we've made on the inside, it solidifies that offensive line and gives Josh Allen time to do the things he wants to do. And then my third one, I'm going to say whoever our middle linebacker is. Who's going to be calling the plays?
Whoever it is, so sad.
I want to say Groot. I really want to say Groot because I want to see him grow.
Right, continue because he's still. I think he's still
getting better every year.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
He will continue to get better every year because he didn't come into college as a defensive end.
Right.
He learned
he's
it
still
year
getting
one.
Bigger, by the way.
Yeah,
like he's still gaining weight.
He's still learning his body.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'll say the middle linebacker, whoever that is. I really hope it's the rookie because I like what I see. Dorian Williams.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him there or Balin Spector. A lot of talk about him.
Spector's interesting.
He spent the offseason here getting bigger.
Right,
and
he was all over the field and
yeah, I want to either be Williams or Spector as our middle linebacker. But if I had to go somebody else, I would have said Groot. Those are my 3. I'll go Hyde, Brown, and middle linebacker, whoever it is, because they're going to be calling the defense.
I like Klein, but I hope it's not Klein.
I think AJ Klein's going to be a practice squad guy. I don't even think he makes the roster.
Fair enough, especially Spector could beat him out. I could see that happening. You might,
and he's that veteran guy that we'll have in the locker room that we gave him a little bit more money as a signing bonus to come back to where we can stash him on as one of those veterans.
I can see that.
Locker
room.
If
they don't work out, or I see that
because they've talked about like who's in the competition. Klein's not even in the competition to be the starting middle linebacker.
Yeah, I don't think any, and rightfully he shouldn't. Honestly, he shouldn't be. I mean, no disrespect to him, but these guys are younger. I think these guys deserve a little bit better of a chance, a shot than him. He's not like a true starting, linebacker. He's more of a rotational guy, fill-in guy. Like, I don't know. I think like you said, I think Dorian Williams is interesting. I think if they're going a different style or more aggressive, I think Dorian Williams could work out. I think they could send him more on blitzes. I think he can get to the running back. He's actually a pretty good tackler. So we'll see.
He's 6'2". He's about 230 pounds, but he's got a really solid frame and really long arms.
Yeah. And he
so
might
he has
too.
a 6'2" frame, but like a 6'6" wingspan or something like that. They say.
Right.
Something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
When we're looking at it here, it says Spin comes in and says, I don't know. McDermott calling defense now. Klein's the only one on the team who's played in this style of defense. Yeah, but I mean, the only way I see Klein becoming the starting middle linebacker is if all the other guys completely crap the bed.
I just don't think he'll start. I don't
think so either. I don't think he makes the team. I really don't. I think he's gonna be a practice squad guy.
I honestly think they really like Dorian Williams a lot, man.
I think they like him more than we liked him.
Yeah. I'm coming. I told you, sometimes when this dust clears, man, I start to watch tape on these guys, really start to hear what the coaches think about.
Dorian Williams was better than I thought he was.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, and I think that's what the coaches saw, man. And I think they have a plan for Dorian
We
Williams.
just need to get Tremaine Edmonds out of our head. We're so used to having that
Motor.
big monster in the middle, and that's not how the NFL's played with those monster
Exactly.
guys.
It's changed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Thomas, me and you both, bro.
I think Cook's gonna
Motor.
have a good year. I really do.
I do too, but I will miss Motor. I think Motor was listen, he's never going to be
Great
like an
team
elite running back.
I think that's what I miss most about him. He's always the guy picking somebody up.
Never complained. Yeah, always was there for his team, like you said, picking people up. He did whatever was asked. He never complained. When he wasn't the starter or he didn't get enough snaps or like he was there, whatever. But Cook had a good second half of his rookie year. I thought Cook was coming around. I just hope, and I haven't seen any reports or anything like that. I really hope though he gains some weight.
I haven't seen anything on. Cook.
I have heard nothing. So now who knows now? But we'll really know when camp kicks up. They're gonna tell you. I'm sure reporters will say, "Hey, if he's running, if he's gaining a little weight, if he looks like he bulked up." I can't
imagine him not though in a professional program.
I would think they would get unless they don't. Unless I don't know. But he needs to. He's just. I don't know, Mikey. But I will say he's going to benefit from the bigger offensive lineman we got. So we'll see.
I'm dying to like Cook. I just don't see it yet. No, Cook played a lot better down the stretch. He was breaking tackles.
He was a lot more patient
down the stretch.
Is what I saw. Yeah, from Cook.
He also broke tackles that you didn't think he could break.
He did. He got he was getting a little better with that, no doubt. But I still think he needs to bulk up a little bit. But I think the most important thing for Cook last year was his patience. I thought in the beginning he was rushing a lot, kind of like Moss did. But Moss never got out of that. Moss would run into the back of his offensive line. I thought Cook started to slow down, wait for his offensive lineman to get a block. You take the hold that was given and work his magic there. And you saw that towards the end there. He was really patient. And
it was a really bad offensive line, so I'll be really excited to see him with
exactly. That's what I'm saying. So imagine when he runs to the right. Let's say he goes to the right with Torrance, and because Brown's not a bad Brown's
a better run blocker than pass blocker.
That's right. So Brown, imagine with Torrance locking up a defender and hitting that first hole because he's gonna have a hole there, and then Brown leading the way. Dude, that should be I'd be running to the right side more than often. I mean, to the left. Yeah. All right. Anything else, Mikey?
Nope. I think we're good. The chat was awesome tonight.
Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all, man.
Tommy, next week I will not be here though. There is a graduation I'll be attending. So
where are you going?
Graduation. There's a graduation attendance I'm required to be at.
What You're graduating?
No, I'm not graduating. I'm not graduating. I have family members graduating.
Little bit old, pal, to be graduating, buddy. All right. Well, hey, I guess it's just me and my chat, man. It's all good, man.
If I can get back in time, I'll hop in for the second half.
All right, cool. All right, no problem. Well, guys, hey, we enjoyed it. Everybody, Bills Mafia, we love you. And I will be back next week at 8:30. Maybe I'll have a guest on to join me. Maybe Jarek will help me out. Until next time, guys, go Bills. We love you, and we're out of here. Peace.